Eight-year-old boy missing after last seen at playfield in Gregory Park, St. Catherine. The police have activated a high alert for 8-year-old Nevardo Blackburn of Queens Avenue, Gregory Park, St. Catherine, who has been missing since Saturday. Reports from the Caymanas police are that Nevardo was last seen at a playing field in his community about 4:30 p.m. on Saturday. His mode of dress at the time is unknown, and he has not been seen or heard from since. Anyone with information on Nevardo whereabouts is asked to contact the Caymanas police at 876-988-1719, call the police 119 emergency number, or visit the nearest police station. KSAMC apologizes to Fraser Price after spelling error. The Kingston and St. Ange Municipal Corporation, KSAMC, has issued a public apology to Jamaican sprint icon Shirley Fraser Price over the misspelling of her name on the street sign unveiled in her honor on Sunday. This sign, which was meant to mark the renaming of Ashoka Road in Waterhouse, St. Catherine as Shirley Fraser Price Drive, instead had the Olympic and world champion's last name spelled as Fraser Price with an I. Despite the error, Fraser Price said she was honored by the recognition and remained focused on inspiring young people in the community where she grew up. Speaking during the ceremony, KSAMC CEO Robert Hill acknowledged the mistake and assured the public that a corrected sign will be installed shortly. The correct sign will be placed there in less than 12 hours' time, Hill stated. Rest assured that it will be done. It does, and even you, Shelley-Ann, yourself, have said it does not take away from the meaning, sincerity, and the celebration, and the importance of what today is. But these things sometimes do happen, and I apologize sincerely and wholeheartedly for any inconvenience or any misunderstanding that may have ensued from this error. Mayor of Kingston, Andrew Swaby, also extended an apology in a post-event interview to reporters. The CEO has indicated before that he apologized and took responsibility for it. Swaby said, "I wholeheartedly apologize to Shelley-Ann, to her sponsors, her family, and her community for that. Words can't explain it. We are really sorry. By tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, we are assured that it will be treated correctly." Labour Minister Pernell Charles Jr. says efforts continue to facilitate reopening of Chinese-operated auto shop in St. Catherine. Labour Minister Pernell Charles Jr. has stated that effort is being made to facilitate the reopening of the Chinese-operated auto shop in St. Catherine. The Whole Heart Car Service Company in Ferry Pen was closed last month following reports that some workers did not have the requisite permits. Earlier this month, Charles Jr. stated that reports of the ministry's probe into the entity's operation were shared with the police for further investigation. Speaking at a recent post-cabinet press briefing, Mr. Charles Jr. said, "The company has applied to be regularized." He reiterated that once the laws of the country are adhered to, the entity can resume operations.
They have made formal applications for the regularization of their status. It is an interministerial process in terms of advancing the necessary assessments to determine if any sanctions or what sanctions through the Ministry of National Security, and also to identify and to advance whatever issues in terms of work permit or immigration status will be required for them to be regularized. There are two things that we said that we have continued to do. Is one, to make sure that the rule of law is upheld in Jamaica, and that anyone operating who is a foreign national, which is what comes under the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, does so in adherence to the law. And secondly, that we hear the Jamaicans, the hundreds and thousands. I've received letters, I've received calls, and several persons who have indicated that the gap in that space in terms of the labour market is persuading them to encourage the government to help these companies to get a space because of the affordability, reliability, and effectiveness of their service. We are facilitating as best as we can. Once the law is adhered to, we are continuing to do everything we can to ensure that they can reopen as quickly as possible. And those, I can tell you that the applications are now at the Ministry of Labour and Social Security.
Health Minister satisfied that procurement process for neurosurgical drill was followed. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton has expressed satisfaction with the procurement process for a $31 million neurosurgical drill for the Bustamante Hospital for Children. His statement follows calls by his opposition counterpart, Dr. Alfred Dawes, for the Auditor General to probe the procurement process. Dr. Dawes also appealed for the Southeast Regional Health Authority and the Health Ministry to publicly confirm whether due diligence was exercised in awarding the contract. The opposition spokesman claims that the equipment is not new and that the purchase price was around $250,000. Medical Technologies Limited, which played a part in acquiring the drill, said both claims are false. However, Dr. Dawes is calling for the necessary documents to be provided and has criticized the Health Ministry's procurement system. Speaking with reporters recently, Dr. Tufton said that he is comfortable that the process was followed.
And that involves a tender document being issued, having been developed, an advertising in the public domain for all and sundry to apply once they are registered with PPC, which is the law. 3 bidders submitting a bid, those bids being examined, a determination made by an evaluation committee, and then, based on a recommendation, a further examination by an external party, the Public Procurement Committee, PPC, and then they validating that process. And then the award is taken. From my perspective as the policymaker and the person who appoints a board, Sarah's board in this instance, my role is to always support and ensure process is followed. I have never been involved in procurement because that's not my job. In fact, I can't get involved in procurement. I don't know the company up until when this conversation started. But as I understand it, they are a registered company. They have been in business since 2007, before I was even a minister in the Ministry of Agriculture.
Man killed, another injured in Harborview gun attack. A man was killed and another shot and injured in an attack in Harborview in eastern Kingston on Saturday. The deceased has been identified as 24-year-old Wayne Campbell of Pleasant Heights, Rockford in Kingston 2nd. Campbell and another man were on St. Thomas Boulevard in Harborview when they were shot by unknown assailants about 5:35 p.m. according to reports. Both men were assisted to the Kingston Public Hospital, where Campbell was pronounced dead. The other man was admitted for treatment. UHWI to join Global Observance of Emergency Week. The University of the West Indies UHWI is joining the Global Recognition of Emergency Week 2025, which comes as hospital faces growing demand for patients bypassing community clinics and the surge in non-communicable diseases. The 8-day observance is expected to highlight the work of emergency department staff, including doctors, nurses, technicians, patient care assistants, among others. The UHWI Hospital is observing the week under the theme Innovating Emergency Care, Honoring Our Roots, Shaping Our Future. Emergency Medicine Day, officially marked worldwide on May 27, was launched in 1994 by the European Society of Emergency Medicine to promote access to competent, timely care for all. Emergency medicine is a specialty where practitioners are trained to assess, diagnose, and manage acute life and limb-threatening pathologies, stated the emergency medicine consultant Dr. Edwards. It is a unique era in that as a specialty, it intersects significantly with other specialties. Emergencies spanning several specialties are seen. She added, patients are assessed, resuscitated, stabilized, investigated, diagnosed, and treated, after which decisions are made regarding disposition, whether the patient needs to be seen by other specialists as an emergency, urgently, or can be followed up to the clinic at a private specialist of their choice or at the general practitioner. On Tuesday, May 27, UHWI will host a webinar under the sub-theme Elevating Emergency Excellence. Speakers include Professor Philip Levy of Wayne State University and UHWI's own Professor Jean Williams Johnson. The session will be streamed on Zoom and YouTube from 2 to 4 p.m. While most of the week's activities are scheduled for June 9 to 14, the celebration begins with a church service on Sunday, June 8 at Dominican Kingdom Embassy Ministries on Old Hope Road. Other activities include an expo, sexual assault examination webinar, quiz, netball and football matches, social events, and dinner forum, and a final Walkerton Road race. This year's global theme is Proud to Provide Your Emergency Care. To subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.